All right, guys, what's up, y'all? Got another video, another update video coming in hot off the presses. This is my 1,000 hour update video. I made a video at like 900 hours or something like that. You can see the last video. It's been about 2 months since then, so this is my 100-hour update video. And yeah, so we're gonna get into it. Talking about whatever, like how do I feel, plans for output, things like that. Also, I wanted to address a comment where the commenter in one of my last videos was talking about. He basically said he feels like it's 750 hours. My output ability should be at least C1, and my current ability at best. Now he's talking about. I think this was 2 videos ago, so that's even more of a time gap. That's probably like a year time span. But he was saying at best it was B1, probably A2, but at best B1, which I would agree with that. I would say my output ability is around B1. I wouldn't say A2. No, like not A2. I would say around B1. It's just you just have a lot of gaps from immersing with what you immerse with. But yeah, so my response to that is, which I replied to his comment as well, but it got me thinking, and that's something that it was like, okay, cool. It kind of got me thinking about what I want to do, how do I feel about it, et cetera, et cetera. And so far, I'm like, yeah, those numbers. My only problem with that is 750 hours. My output stability. Wow, I can't speak English. My output ability should be at C1 at 750 hours. My question is, where did you get that from? What data did you pull that from? Who, what, where, when, how, right? It's not like this is like a car, right? Like when a car gets kind of old and you get mileage, like as your mileage goes up, there's certain things that are expected to break or need to be checked up on or whatever, or tend to fail at given certain mileage amounts or something like that. It's not like that where like we have a lot of data on these cars, like because everyone comes in and gets them checked up and has these problems, and you can compile all this data. We don't have that as like language learners, right? So to say where I need to be, especially we don't have a lot of language learners that track their actual hours, right? They'll track, into the 2 year mark, right? You have one language learner that has been learning Spanish for 2 years and but if he tracked his hours, he would have like 800 hours. And then you have another Spanish learner that's been, given a 2 year update, but if you track his hours, he has 300 hours. Both of them are cool, that's great. But obviously, if one spent 300 hours and one spent 800 hours, they're going to be in completely different spots at the end of the 2 years. And then you have another guy who's just like not human and has like 2,000 hours in 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, so obviously all three of them are going to be at completely different levels, have completely different expectations. So, but that's how most of the update videos are made. They're made based off of time increments, not hours. So in the data we do have on time, or not even on time, technically time is based off of like class hours, which are completely different than like you spending time immersing in some material. If someone does 400 hours of classes, Spanish classes, that's a completely different thing than 400 hours of input, taking in the language. That's completely different things, right? So you can't even, these numbers, 750 hours, you should be at X, or 800 hours or 100 hours, you should be at Y, or like completely irrelevant. At least it doesn't make sense. The only way we can start to compile this is other learners who track their time, given the same language and similar learning language backgrounds, start to then compare notes, and we kind of get a vague idea of like, okay, it might be cool to kind of work on this and work on that. But with that being said, I do agree with him in the sense that my output should be higher, but it only should be higher because I want it to be higher. It shouldn't be higher because you want it to be higher. It should be higher because I want it to be higher. Like you're in this case irrelevant, just like I'm irrelevant in your desires and what you want out of your language and what are your goals with the language. Like I'm irrelevant in your decision making process, and you're irrelevant in mine, kind of thing. So another thing I wanted to add on top of that is I'm not gonna I won't feel bad for me not putting in the work to and that and don't have something. Like if I don't feel, like I feel like if you're a person, if you suck at math but you also never do math, you shouldn't feel bad about sucking at math. You chose not to put in any work, so that's why you suck, because you didn't put in the work. You can feel bad about not putting in the work, like, man, I should be way better at math. I should have, I should do this. You can feel bad about not putting in the work, like, oh, I'm lazy. I'm not putting in the work to learn math. Then you can feel bad about that. But you shouldn't feel bad about not putting, that the only time you should really actually feel bad, maybe frustrated or discouraged, the only time that I can see that is if you spent the time learning, you spent the time, the investment, the energy, the effort, and you're not where you want to be in that particular facet of the whatever endeavor you're partaking in. But in my case, I've spent a lot of time listening, reading, and watching, and ergo, and very little time outputting, and ergo, I can listen, read, and watch very well, and I can output not very well. So to me, it's like it's a choice I've made. Like, I'm gonna just chill out on output for now. I'm gonna chill on output just for now. Now I want to output. Now I'm going to start outputting. But so I'm not gonna feel bad about it. I'm not gonna feel discouraged about it, or like, oh, I should be at this level. Like, no, that's nonsense to me. But so yeah, I'm just wanted to cover, mention that too. It's like you should only feel bad about something or feel frustrated potentially if you've actually put in the work, right? And didn't get where you wanted to get, or don't see the results that you want to see. Now, but that also has helped me because I'm tracking my hours. I get to see the actual disparity between my input and my output. I can actually visually see that. Whereas if I wasn't tracking and I was just going on this, just doing my thing, I would have assumed I had I've outputted much higher, and I'm not where I want, right? And that could have led to frustration because I'm thinking like I've outputted maybe twice, 2 or 3 times more than I actually have, and I could have potentially, and that doesn't mean I would, but I could have potentially been more discouraged by that, or been more, whatever. So yeah, like, I'm a person not worried about it. Now I want to change it. Now I want to do something else. Now I should do it because I want to actually do it, because now I think it's time. Now my comprehension is in a good place where I want to do that. So I just want to kind of get that out the way and cover that. So yeah, I want to get my output better. I want to improve, and that's why I'm going to lay out this plan for output. But with that being said, I wanted to talk about, I also have a reluctancy to track my hours now. So for y'all who don't know, maybe you probably do, I track my hours. I track every hour I do. Of course, that's why I say 1,000 hours in this video. And I've been having feeling a reluctancy to track my hours. Now, this is even though that I've made tracking of my hours very easy and painless. I've just noticed the easier my immersion is to get, the more easier it is just to pop something on and not have to grab my phone and push a button and record, just track the time. The easier it is to input, the harder it is to want to, make sure I'm tracking my time, I've been noticing a reluctancy to put the data into the computer, on my little spreadsheet I got, because previously I would do it like every 2 days, or like, super excited, like, oh, I can't wait to put the numbers in, or at the, then it's just kind of got a little bit larger over time. Now, like, then I started doing like every week. Now it's like I'll do it like once a month basically. And even then I gotta remind myself, like, oh crap, I gotta plug all this in my data, or I won't do it for a while and I'll just do it and right before the next video, just to make sure everything's up to date. I'll plug in the numbers right before the video, like I just did today. So yeah, I've been noticing a big reluctance to do that. And so I've kind of been thinking about it, and what I want to do is I want to keep track of the hours, stick it out for the rest of the year, and then at the end of the year I'm not going to track anymore. I'm honestly I'm kind of going to finish Spanish, quote unquote finish Spanish, in a sense where a lot of the tracking, a lot of the everything, the structured nature of it is kind of going to just go out the window, and I'll still do Spanish, but it'll be just chill. It won't be, I'll just have pop on videos, do stuff like that, but it won't be no kind of tracking, no kind of guided approach. Just, I want to spend as much time, this year refining, getting it kind of set up for where I want Spanish to be, and then kind of like letting the reins, letting go, and just kind of letting it go where it wants to go after this year. Obviously, the plans could change, but that's kind of what I'm thinking I want to do for it now. So, with that being said, yeah, let's get into the outline and my plan for output. Because, like I said, I want to. The time is now. I need to output. I want to output. I want to output, but I'm lazy. So, previously I should have been outputting a lot more, a lot earlier. So for y'all who don't know, I haven't really outputted much. So given the amount of hours, like I said, this is like 1,000 hours. I have 1,009 hours in Spanish input and output. But of total immersion, I have 1,009 hours. With that being said, 97% of that is input. 3% of that is output. So obviously that creates a very large disparity between my ability to output and my ability to input or comprehend the language. So what I need to do is I need to change that. I need to basically spend a lot of time outputting and inputting, but like I need to spend a lot of time because it's just about time. Like I should have been doing it earlier. I started outputting at around 450 hour mark. But what ended up happening, so I outputted a lot for about a month, and then I stopped and didn't do anything else because I wanted to kind of like knock out the bumps and do all that stuff. But I inputted a lot for about maybe 25, 26 hours. Got to a point where I can actually speak, then just kind of chilled and just immerse more, which was like my entire plan. I was like, exactly what I wanted to do and what I want to get out of it, which worked. Cool. But but the thing is, I should have started outputting more frequently, more often, maybe around the 800, 700 hour mark, but I've just been lazy. It's more so the thing like when you're inputting, it's really easy because you get to put something on, you get to watch something, you could be low energy, you can be vibing after work or during work or whatever. When you output, you need to, set up your mic and get somebody who will, who wants to chat consistently and, do that X amount of time, like you need to, you need to be more engaged. You need to kind of set up. It's hard to do something like that last second. It can be difficult. And it's because of that, I have been kind of struggling with it, and I don't have a lot of people in real life who I can speak Spanish with. I have a lot of people in my life who speak Spanish, right? But they also speak English natively. So it's kind of like it's very difficult to want to speak Spanish because it's just kind of like, oh, that's cute, and then let's get back to English, like, so because of that, I want to just get my English. I want to get my Spanish skills up, kind of backstage. Before, because even then they don't even speak to the point where they don't even speak Spanish to each other, right? Like, they'll be, friends that are like brothers and sisters and whatever, and or just sisters, and they just speak English to each other and just say a Spanish word every now and again. Like they don't, you know what I mean? They don't speak to each other in Spanish completely. So it's like it's kind of weird trying to like get trying to kind of change that. So yeah, I just want to get my Spanish really really good in the background and then come in and do that. But I don't have a lot of people that are just like I have a Spanish relationship with, like we communicate in Spanish, a lot of friends like that. So that's something I need to do. Not the friend part, but I need to create a relationship with Spanish with people, and I'm going to do that online because it's the easiest way to do it because I never leave the house. So yeah, that's that. That's what I want to do with output. I want to output a lot. If I can get like 100 to 200 hours of output, 200 will be a lot. That'd be a stretch goal for sure. I think that would be very good. I'll be, 150 to break even by the end of the year. I'll be very happy with that. And hopefully my output ability will be in a much better place. Because even with that, like I said, so far that 3% of output, 31 hours on record, I've tracked for 31 hours of conversation. You got to remember that at least half of that is the other person talking, right? So half of that 31 is input, really. And the other half is me speaking. But usually because it's my second language, it's probably more like 60-40, right? Because, you're not as talkative if you're speaking your second language, if your second language isn't like, very good or very fluent. So, yeah. So out of that 31 hours that I have of output, maybe 15 of it is me actually speaking. So when you factor in that, it makes sense why my output is at best like a rough B1, right? That makes sense because of given what I've how much time I've actually put in it. But it also makes it impressive because that just shows that input does work. Where I've had a lot of input and I've had very little output, but my speaking ability still improves a lot, even though I'm not actually outputting. I haven't outputted in 450 hours. That was when the Texas snowstorm hit. Was that COVID? No, it wasn't COVID. It was after COVID. So it was like I haven't outputted really in a year, like actually like had a conversation. So the fact that I've improved I feel the improvement every time I make one of these videos or do an output demonstration. I feel the difference in my output, even though I haven't actually done the output. I've just done input. So I know that works. It's a very gradual process. Um, I know input does improve output, but it is a very gradual process. So if I want to actively speed that process up, I'll have to start outputting now, which I need to do. So that's kind of detailing my whole output plan and kind of what I want to do with that. And basically, that's kind of my plan for the rest of the year. I want to get to over 1,200 hours of total immersion by the end of the year. I want 100 of that at least to be output practice, and then I want to kind of wrap up Spanish for this year, for like just for life, not literally, but like in a sense of I want to cease all the dedicated, specific structuring my time and things like that, and just kind of just have fun and just study it, like or make Spanish a part of my life, and not actively try and structure how I want to improve. I want to get to a point where I want to use this rest of the year to just learn, not learn, well, obviously learn, but like use the rest of the year to just kind of structure as much as I can to the end of the year, and after that, kind of just be done with Spanish. Not literally, I'm still immerse, still watch stuff, YouTube and stuff like that, but it won't be as active. At least that's the plan for right now. I might change my mind. I don't know, but we'll see. So that's kind of how the plan I have now for output and what I want to do with it. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I'll get there. I'm hoping. I think I might be able to get there. So, but I'm hoping. I really more than anything, because I feel like the amount of hours immersion I have up until this point is sufficient to do whatever in Spanish. Like, because now I can understand natives decently comfortably, but obviously it could definitely be better. There's a lot of things, a lot of nouns that I might not know, like different foods and random crap like that. But I have a very good base where, in terms of comprehension, where I'm much more happy with it, because I was much more frustrated with not understanding than I am about not speaking. You know what I mean? Not being able to say things is a lot less frustrating than not being able to understand something. So for me, that's what was always more important, to get that out the way first. But now I'm feeling like it's at a good place. My comprehension is at a good place where like I should now definitely start practicing on pure output, and just and hoping that like I said, if I get to like 200 hours of that, I'm hoping that I'll be at a very good place after that, and then we can just take it from there, and just then I'm chilling, and then we'll see if I want to learn another language. I'm not sure on that. I was thinking maybe Russian or Chinese, but then I'm kind of falling off on Chinese, and Russian still kind of look cool, but it's just like, man, do I want to start doing another language, or do I want to just do something else, like learn another like life skill that's not spending 600 hours into something just to get remotely somewhat kind of a little competent in something. Like if I were to learn Russian, it would be a cool challenge to learn another language. I would want to do something, learn a language much more difficult. But just because it will be a fun challenge, but at the same time that's also a bigger time commitment. Like I wouldn't want to learn, like I think I'm done with like romance languages. Like I wouldn't want to learn like Italian or French or anything like that. Like I'm cool with that. Like none of the Romance languages really draw me in like that, except for maybe Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese. Because it just sounds dope. It sounds cool. But other than that, but it's not enough cool. But it's so close to Spanish that I'm like I'm cool. So if anything, I mean I guess Japanese would be cool, but I don't know if I love Japanese culture enough to really for it to draw me in enough. You know, it's like I don't know. Is Spanish was the one where aside from Esperanto, which I it's another thing, but Spanish was the one like natural language where I was just like that was the one that always drew me in. So now after Spanish, I'm like we'll have to see. Obviously, it's a length. I might stop and not learn anything for like 10 years, and then pick up another one 10 years later, or something like that. That's a possibility. But once I get where I want to get with Spanish, then I don't know. I'm kind of coasting. I'll see how I'm feeling at the end of it, and see if I want to hop into another language. You know, and yeah, we'll see, man. So I think that'll be it. I don't know what else I could talk about. I'm gonna show y'all actually with that being said, I'm going to show y'all my numbers real quick. So, but right before I forget. So yeah, you can see. Okay, so here you can see my kind of distribution of my hours. You can see how very little output I have. That's what you see in this graph right here. How my kind of immersion breakdown goes. And yeah, as you can see, it's not a lot. It is not a lot. So yeah, that is something I'm gonna need to have to bump up. I'm at 31 hours now, and like I said, 31 hours of output is really like 15 hours of output. So if I want to get to like, I think if I get to like 200 hours of output, that means I'd have like I technically like 100 hours of speaking, kind of thing. That's kind of the way my brain's thinking about it. That'll be a big help. And yeah, I think that's something that I want to do. So yeah, I think that'll be it. Y'all, I don't want to show y'all like my tracking list or anything like that because it's not really necessary. But yeah, I think I hit when I hit 1,000 hours this day. What day is this? Oh shoot. Oh yeah, on the 18th. So cool. But yeah, so these are my hours. These for the quarter, and yeah. So with that being said, I will catch you guys later. See ya.